After a year of unending ups and downs, my girlfriend finally admitted she liked me too, but now her stubbornness is driving me away. You don't get to pick and choose when it's convenient for you, I shouted, but it feels like our love is slipping away. Should I end it? Hello, I am 23 years old male and I have been in a relationship with my girlfriend who is 20 years old and female for just over a year. For context, I developed feelings for her long before she realized she had feelings for me. We met through a close friend and established a friendship first. A few months into our acquaintance, I began to develop deeper feelings for her. I confessed my feelings, but she rejected me twice. The first time she expressed that she was not ready for a relationship and did not see me in that way. Although it hurt, I accepted her decision and attempted to move on. However, since we were in the same friend group, in my opinion, she continued to interact with me in a way that surpassed what a typical female friend would do, and something suggested to me that she might have some feelings for me. We would text for hours each day and video call until 2 a.m. I was still trying to get over her during this time. One evening we went out as a group and ended up holding hands while dancing, which led everyone to believe there was something more between us. The following day I spoke with her again about her behavior. I was clearly feeling a connection, but she acted as though she also had feelings for me while simultaneously denying them. For the second time, she rejected me. This same cycle continued for several months until it reached a point where it was extremely confusing for me. I eventually spoke with her a third time, and this time she finally admitted that she had feelings for me and wanted to give the relationship a try. Since that moment, we have been together. She has been very loving and caring, and we shared a wonderful summer that I remember very fondly. Recently, I have been feeling frustrated with her. I feel that she has changed, becoming a bit more self-centered and stubborn. This has led to frequent arguments. While it may be partly due to her being in her final year of university and experiencing stress, I also believe it is not right for her to behave in certain ways. Despite having been madly in love with her initially, I feel myself losing interest due to the constant disappointments. We both have our challenges. I come from a traumatic childhood that may surface during arguments, but I also believe she has many issues as well, and dealing with them is exhausting. From what I can gather from our biggest arguments, she seems to struggle with empathy. She does not fully understand what others are experiencing. In my opinion, she has significant communication problems, often misinterpreting what I say. I frequently do not feel heard, as if she exists in her own bubble and then blames me or others for not communicating effectively. Let me provide an example. One day there was a major event in town for winter celebrations. My housemates and I live a bit farther away while she resides in the town. Anticipating the crowds, I opted to take the bus to avoid the hassle of parking. I informed her of this, and we agreed to meet in town 30 minutes before the celebration began so we could share that moment together. However, when my housemates and I tried to take the bus, it was either delayed or canceled. Instead, we decided to take the train, which took a bit longer. We arrived 10 minutes prior to the event. I hadn't had a chance to call or text her because we were walking in the pouring rain to get to the train, and once we arrived in town, I messaged her that I had just gotten off the train and it would take me about 15 minutes to walk to her location. She opened my message but did not respond. I called her multiple times to ask where she was so I could meet up with her. She ignored my calls, clearly annoyed that I was late. By chance, I spotted her in a coffee shop and asked why she hadn't answered my calls. She admitted she was upset with me. We ended up missing the official start of the celebrations, which was supposed to be a romantic moment shared between partners, simply because she was frustrated that I was not there right on time and because I took longer to inform her about my delay, even though I thought it was not that significant. We got into a substantial argument over this situation. I felt hurt and disappointed that she was focused solely on the timing and was unwilling to enjoy the time we could have been together. It frustrated me that she was so inflexible and rigid in her expectations. More recently, we experienced two major arguments within a week. Last week, I needed her assistance in organizing some clothes in my room, something she had expressed a desire to help me with for quite some time. On that day, I finally felt motivated to tackle the task and asked her if she could come over later to help. She replied that she would see if she could make it as she was working toward a deadline. I fully understood, given that she was completing her final projects due in a few days. She also suggested that I come over to her place so she could assist me without being away from her computer for too long. I declined, believing it would be better for me to stay home and complete the task myself. Later that day, around 8 p.m., I wondered if she might now be free, so I called her. It turned out she was dining out with her housemates on a whim. I felt somewhat annoyed for multiple reasons. First, I had asked for her assistance, and she had initially given the excuse of work, but then chose to ignore that and go out instead. Second, she often complains to me about her financial situation and is sometimes resistant to taking the bus to come see me when I cannot pick her up. I work full-time, often long hours, sometimes until midnight. Yet she can afford to dine out with her housemates that night and had done so 2 days earlier at the same expensive pizza place with her friends from her course. I want to clarify that I have no problem with her spending time with friends, but under the circumstances mentioned, I felt ignored and hurt. I confronted her about this and she responded with the excuses, "Oh, I didn't realize you wanted it done today, and I was trying to please both sides, I couldn't help it." In my opinion, she admitted that she was juggling two commitments, one with me and one with her housemates, ultimately choosing the more enjoyable option and also avoiding taking the bus to come see me. It is important to note that my request was made first. Her flatmate's outing was a last-minute decision. Additionally, she regularly complains about not liking to take the bus to mine because it is costly and inconvenient, despite the journey being a mere 10 to 12 minutes and less without traffic, with the bus stop right in front of my house. She often makes me drive her back home, even when I have to drive to work myself, which has made me late for work on occasion. I work for an app-based delivery company, and being late by even 5 minutes could result in a canceled shift. In any case, we got into an argument, and I didn't want to see her for the next few days. Eventually, she broke down and insisted on seeing me, opting to take a taxi at midnight to visit. The most recent argument occurred last night when I was working until midnight in a town that is 40 minutes away from my home. She texted me asking if I wanted to stay over that night. It is important to emphasize that this weekend marks the final stretch for her deadlines, and we had previously agreed to stay at our own places until she had submitted all her work. She explained that her flatmates were all gone for Easter and that she was feeling lonely and missed me. I told her I could not stay the night because I needed to prepare for work the next day and would be finishing late. However, I offered to pick her up and have her stay at my place, which would require a detour on my drive home. She expressed that she would rather not come over because she wanted to finish her work the next morning. This irritated me because it seemed that when it suited her, she wanted me to come to her regardless of the implications for me. Even if I had stayed over, she would still need breakfast and would want some time in the morning to cuddle, which she enjoys, as do I. My position is that she could easily do that at my place, spend the night, and we could have breakfast together the next day. Additionally, she could take the bus home, which she dislikes doing as stated before. It is also worth mentioning that she has the flexibility to work from anywhere with her laptop, while I need to be at home to prepare for work and need my own space to cook, etc. That's the distinction for me. But as long as I am making an effort, she wants to see me. The moment it poses any inconvenience for her, she suddenly changes her mind. "Oh, I'm too tired and want my own bed tonight," or "I need to get work done tomorrow." I asked her if she had considered that I might be tired from working for 10 hours straight that day and would also want my own bed that night. No part of staying over the night would prevent her from working the next day. She could literally leave before I wake up to go home and work if she really wanted to, but I feel she does not consider my circumstances. If she needs to work on her deadline, she shouldn't request that I come over. If she wants to see me, then she should not complain about needing to do work the next day. It cannot be both ways. We argued about this, and we are currently not speaking. I have asked her to reach out to me after she submits her deadline so we can have a conversation. Even though we both care deeply for one another, I feel she exhibits two distinct personalities: the loving, carefree, giggling girlfriend and the rigid, stubborn, inflexible girlfriend. I find it increasingly difficult to tolerate her negative side. This does not only surface during times of deadlines, it occurs intermittently all the time. When she gets an idea in her head, she is unwilling to change, compromise, or be reasonable. I find myself wondering whether we are truly right for one another after all of this. There is undoubtedly much more to the situation, but every time she disappoints me in this manner, I feel exhausted by the turmoil. I need advice. On one hand, I truly love her, and we have discussed long-term plans, children, marriage, etc., but I am beginning to doubt my ability to handle her negative aspects any longer. Our bond is incredibly intense, as are our arguments, and it makes me question whether we should part ways. What are your thoughts? Any insights would be greatly appreciated. Even if you believe I am in the wrong, I would at least like some perspective on this. Thank you in advance. Summary: I am experiencing difficulties with my girlfriend's stubbornness and inflexibility regarding our day-to-day plans, and I am seeking guidance on how to address these issues. Story 2. Stuck in a year of constant fighting, my girlfriend's boundary issues with other guys and our conflicting values have me questioning everything. "Why can't you just listen?" she yells, while I dream of freedom, a life I could embrace if I leave. Is it worth my peace? I am a 30-year-old male who has been dating my girlfriend, a 27-year-old female, for approximately 1 year. She has gone on vacation for 2 weeks and will leave again after 6 days for another trip. We both experience significant anxiety and obsessive-compulsive disorder, but in very different forms. Over the past year, we have shared some truly wonderful times and moments together. However, upon reflection, I honestly believe that most of it has been spent in anger, anxiety, and resentment from both sides. We have been arguing continuously for several months. For her, it may be that she considers me to be a poor listener, feels I lack enough empathy, or believes I do not understand her values and ideologies. For me, it revolves around how she manages her relationships with her male friends, maintains contact with past romantic interests, allows her male friends to engage in inappropriate behaviors such as resting their hands on her thighs, insists on wearing revealing clothing when we go out, does not contribute financially at my apartment where she has lived for nearly 10 months, frequently starts arguments over the smallest issues, particularly late at night. Has an incessant need for stimulation from others, for example. She is on her phone literally 24/7 and cannot spend a day with me without needing to socialize with others. Engages in bizarre girls' nights out where she is with her single friends interacting with other men and has significant boundary issues with other males. Additionally, she professes her desire for a future similar to mine. Yet whenever I discuss our future, she dismisses it and acts as though it is terrible. Our ideologies, values, and senses of humor differ vastly. Furthermore, she is predominantly asexual and does not want to try new experiences or engage in sexual activities frequently. There are unkind remarks and digs she makes, and she behaves as though I am her brother when we are out with friends, among other things. As I reflect on this situation, having spent the last 45 minutes contemplating, I can hardly think of any positives. What I do manage to come up with is: 1. I appreciate the late nights we spend cuddled up together watching a show without her phone in hand. 2. I love that she goes out of her way to make occasions special, such as holidays, birthdays, and month anniversaries, and she puts in a lot of effort. 3. I am glad she occasionally makes plans for us to do things together. 4. I appreciate that she expresses a desire for the same future as I want, even though her actions suggest otherwise. 5. I admire her ability to see the best in others and her loyalty, which is genuinely impressive. I find myself at a crossroads because she plans to move to Los Angeles in August for a few years to further her career, with the intention of returning to Oregon for us to purchase property, as we both desire. However, I strongly dislike Los Angeles and have absolutely no interest in living there, especially with someone with whom I have been arguing persistently for the past year and feel I cannot fully trust. And frankly, I am beginning to harbor a significant amount of resentment toward her. I recently ended a long-term relationship of 9 years in December 2023, and I perceive that I may have rushed into this relationship seeking love and social interaction because I felt isolated. The sociable nature of my current girlfriend provided a sense of comfort during a challenging period. Now, however, I realize that I do not have much affection for her, her family, her friends, or really anyone in her life. I find myself unsure of what to do. It feels as though we have many wonderful memories and adventures together, such as camping trips, exciting outings, and fulfilling bucket list items like traveling to Australia and climbing Mount Whitney. I feel deeply invested in this relationship, yet when I contemplate the possibility of marrying her, I am overwhelmed with dread, anxiety, shame, and sadness. Our arguments have reached new levels of intensity, bordering on explosive. As I review my budget, as I do weekly, I realize that if we were to break up, since I work remotely, I could travel around the world full-time and live wherever I want for weeks or months at a time while still managing to save a significant portion of my income, which is something I have wanted to do throughout my adult life but have never pursued. I feel a strong temptation to end this relationship and explore the world. She has been on vacation for 4 days now, and during this time I have been significantly more productive than I have been in months. I feel more relaxed and at peace. Whenever she calls, I flinch slightly, and each time we speak, we end up bickering about something. I am uncertain about the next steps, feeling trapped, scared, and helpless. I cannot determine whether this is merely a phase we will overcome or if our struggles signify deeper issues. When I reflect on my previous relationship, I remember how wonderful the first year was and how delightful it remained until we parted ways due to her alcohol-induced aggression towards me. Up to that point, we shared a couple of years filled with infatuation, exceptional intimacy, a shared sense of humor, common interests, values, ideologies, boundaries, and complete trust. This relationship feels nowhere near that level. Part of me fears that if I leave, I will end up utterly alone and deeply saddened, again isolated. I worry that I will not find the partner I am searching for, that I will struggle to form new friendships, and that I will feel more isolated than ever, which terrifies me. What should I do? Summary. I have been dating my girlfriend for about a year, and while we have enjoyed some wonderful trips and intimate moments, the relationship is predominantly characterized by anxiety, resentment, ongoing conflict, and deep value mismatches. I do not feel emotionally or physically satisfied, and her boundaries with other men greatly concern me. She is planning to move to Los Angeles soon, a place I have no interest in, and although she claims we share similar future goals, her actions do not reflect that. I entered this relationship following a 9-year commitment, likely due to feelings of loneliness, but now I feel trapped, resentful, and increasingly tempted to end things, travel, and find peace. Although I am afraid of being alone, I also believe this relationship may be obstructing me from achieving the life I truly want.